Right, this is Linton the Swarm Vassal, Bellator light heavyweight contender, and you're watching the MMA Crypt Fighting Talk Show.
Hey there, Cryptos, fight fans, it's Gregory Stone, and you're watching the MMA Crypt Fighting Talk Show. On today's show, we have Tony, the Rhino Giles. Men fear him, women love him, and men want to... Men certainly want to be him, but children want to be him. That's Tony, the Rhino Giles. So, I nearly fucked it up there. Speaking of fucking up, there's plenty of fucking up in this interview with the gun name, Tommy Gun, Bobby Gun. It all gets confusing. You'll see what I'm talking about. Right, intro's a little different today, guys. Obviously, I want the show to vary. There's no boundaries on this show, guys. Basically, the reason for that is, after the Neil Grove interview, I just called up Tony and Rhino Giles, and we basically just got straight into it. So I just hit the record button, and there we go. And yes, I got the same clothes on from the Neil Grove interview. That's why. I'm not a little scruff bag, all right? So, Tony Giles, what do I talk to him about? What do I want to say? What do I want to say to introduce the show? The recording was like from about 4 days ago, so I talked to Tony. Obviously, he's on set. So he's on set as I ring him. Right, he's on set with Paddy Doherty, filming a Paddy Doherty movie. So that's pretty interesting. I talked to him about that straight away, and obviously later on I try to cover that too. I had to get as much on that as possible. That's quite interesting. Hopefully, I can get Paddy Doherty on the show for you guys, and we'll find out exactly what that's about in a bit more detail as well. From the man himself. What else? He's got two belts coming up. Tommy Gun, Bobby Gun. This is where the confusion comes in. So Bobby Gun, he's fighting for Bobby Gun's promotion, bare knuckle boxing bout. I'll talk to him in a little bit of length about that. Then he's also got about you said May against Tommy Gun. Tommy Gun, Bobby. Yeah, see what I'm saying? Tommy Gun, Bobby Gun. Why does there have to be two guns? What's wrong with you, Tony? Hey, talk about bad luck. What else is there? We talk about him getting shot in the face. Pretty interesting. I really wanted to know. Asking the most stupidest question, but maybe it's not the most stupidest question. But I have to ask it for you guys, okay? Last but not least, I talked to him about Big Ben Smith retirement because Big Ben Smith's retired. I tried breaking out a fight and whatnot, but I wanted to get his response on Big Ben Smith retiring, and his response is priceless. It's actually quite hilarious. You can get a few cracks out of that. He's always a barrel of laughs, Tony Giles. Entertaining, to say the least. And then Alex Reid, of course, Alex Reid. We've got to ask him about Alex Reid. I hate to beat the drum. You know, we know he doesn't like Alex. Well, he does like Alex Reid. He respects Alex Reid. He likes him. He's proud of what they achieved. But he wants that rematch. He felt he won the fight. He felt that these guys were bigger than him, Big Ben Smith and Alex Reid. And he wants a rematch against Alex Reid. And he let something loose that was pretty interesting in this interview regarding Bellator. Bellator 158 to be precise. And that's something I didn't know. I did a show on it about who's going to fight Alex Reid at Bellator, and I sort of brought up Tony's name. I was like, Tony would make sense, but I believe it's more for you to say May. But he revealed some stuff. I'm pretty much giving it away here. But yeah, that's pretty much what I talked to Tony about. So just a little intro, what to look for in the interview. Maybe skip forward on some bits, but I didn't do it in order there. It's all a bit chip, chop, chop, chop. Anyway, let's get to the fucking interview because I'm rambling again, Crypters. Here we go. Tony, the Rhino Giles.
Sanction one, just so we can brief it. And I'm doing a film now. You know, I'm dressed in costume at the minute, doing this new film called Bear with Paddy Doherty and a couple of other big actors.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a motion picture. So, and I'm played a bare knuckle fighter in it. So, yeah, that's exciting. It's very hard at the moment.
So tell us a little bit about that film then, Tony.
It's cool.
Are you like the bad guy in it?
No. I'm the bare knuckle fighter in it, and it's based on gypsies culture. So it's good. It's good. It's a version out of Paddy Doherty's life. As I say, it's brilliant. The actors that they've got in it's unbelievable. Like to actually see and watch proper actors act like the way that they do is a different level. And it's, as I say for you, like for me to watch them, I'm only learning something new. So obviously the fight scenes that I've been there and I've done it, so it helps them, doesn't it? And plus, I know what I'm doing. It looks good, and it's only bettered my career.
Did you say this is about Paddy Doherty's life?
Yes, but a version of Paddy Doherty's life story.
I've seen him actually refereeing one of his matches. I don't believe referee is the right word in terms of
yeah,
gypsy
he was the man
fights.
Fair play.
Fair play, that's what, yeah.
Well, I used to do. Well, I started boxing when I was about 6, got my first boxing license when I was about 10, so that was amateur one, and I boxed all the way up until I was about 16, and then I started doing bare knuckle to earn money, really. So, and I was undefeated in the back streets. I had 2 fights in one day once before, so that where Paddy was there at, so he knew that I was the real deal. Then I turned professional at cage fighting, and when I turned pro at cage fighting, it just sort of lifted from there, and I've never gone back to the bare knuckle until now. And now I've got a fight in America that my man Bobby Guns has sorted out for me for BKK. Was it BKK, isn't it? I can't even think of it.
Bare Knuckle Promotions, I believe. I'm
Yeah,
not.
Bare Knuckle Promotions. Sorry, buddy.
I'm a bit of a newbie to Bare Knuckle Promotions, to be honest. To be honest with you, I covered it a little bit with Ken Shamrock when he was fighting Tommy Quinn. I believe that was for B-Bad Promotions, but I believe Tommy Gunn started up his own promotion.
Yeah, the B-Bag one's not sanctioned, so but pretty much that's like unlicensed. So you're never going to get a career out of it, and you're never going to prosper from that, as what I can believe at the moment. And what I've looked into it, but Bobby Gunn's actually gone down the right road, and now they've got a sanctioned title fight, and it's a sanctioned show, which is going to be massive over in America, in Miami. I can't really say that until it gets announced this week, the date and the place it's at. But all I know is I've signed the contract to go over there and fight for the light heavyweight title.
Right.
So we'll be doing a press conference out there soon.
So far we got you in a title fight, Miami, but we can't release an opponent yet. Have we got an opponent yet?
Well, he knows the opponent. He's ex-pro boxer. So it's on bare knuckle, but I just can't remember his name. I don't even bother me to tell the truth who it is. I've been doing it all my life. So I don't even research the fighters, because everyone fights different on the night.
Could you break down the rules for us? Is it a little bit similar to what you do in terms of like?
No, it's like an octagon, but it's a ring instead of cage, obviously. And as I say, it's 3-minute rounds, and you fight over 10 rounds. And it's bare knuckle. You can have racks around your wrist, and basically it's like Queensbury boxing rules. It's the same sort of thing as that. So it's just mainly using your hands. But as I say, for a lot of what's done bare knuckle fighting, a really bad reputation is when people, where it's unlicensed and the organisations are run really bad, then people elbow their knee, whatever, because they think it's a fight. But it's not. This is for professionals. This is at the top of a professional game, is to fight bare knuckle, and especially fight on a proper show bare knuckle, and get benefit out of it. Of like getting a title and going to America. I'm happy with it. I am, and it's something that I've done a lot before in the past. So obviously the other guy's it's going to be a little bit new to him. So that's where I reckon my advantage is going to lie.
You bring up an interesting question there, Tony. Obviously in a fair go. That's clean, obviously boxing rules there. You let your man stand up when he's been knocked down, etc. Have you ever been headbutted, bitten, elbowed, etc.? If you have, what's actually happened? Does it escalate further?
I don't know if you've seen in the paper the other day when I got shot in the face for my last fight.
I've certainly seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, but pretty much everything that could have went wrong has went wrong at one time or another in my fight career. I've been doing it all my life, so I've been down every wrong road that you can imagine. So I think it's out there now. It's motorway all the way. Simple as that. It's just like when I go to America, I know this for a fact that bare knuckle, there's not a fighter, never mind in America, in the whole world, that can stand there toe to toe to me and beat me bare knuckle. I said that's just it. I know for a fact there's not. If I'm not knocking them out, I will beat them so bad they won't be able to finish the fight.
I have to stay on you being shot in the face there, Tony. Now, I don't want to go into the internal details of what actually happened. Obviously, that's personal between you.
Yeah, Gypsy feud.
Yeah. But I'm going to ask this question. It might seem stupid, but what the heck did it feel like to get shot in the face? Not many people can experience that.
I was trying to do Matrix, and it just didn't work. So you know the Matrix, when he just tried to dodge that bullet, and I just missed, just caught it on top of the cheek. It got lodged in my face for 2 days.
Did you see the gun? Like, did you know that he was going to be shot, or was it like sort of like, ah, shit, what was that? After you got it.
Be honest with you, I ain't gonna lie. It was just like it was over so quick.
Yeah.
I can't really remember. I just remember that there's loads of screaming. I wasn't the only person who got shot. There's 3 other people got shot there. So it was a bit of a It's probably the worst cowboy film you've ever watched in all your life. That was probably more than likely what it was like. So it's just at the wrong place at the wrong time. So what do you do? At the end of the day, the police said to me that if I said who it was that shot me in the face and pressed charges on them, then they wouldn't charge me with nothing, and they would let me go there and then. But at the end, I'm a gypsy. We don't do that. So we don't do that. So even if I did see who it was, I didn't. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's it, innit? So that's it, innit?
Let's
hopefully better shot next time.
Well, let's go further on from that. You actually right. A regular man doesn't even get in the cage full stop. Okay, a regular man does not get in the cage full stop. A regular man certainly doesn't get in the cage after getting shot in the face like 2 weeks later. I believe it was 2 or 3 weeks later. You literally got in the cage. I
had to sign a waiver with Dave O'Donnell because everyone failed me on the medical. They said, look, you've got a hole in your face, basically. You can't get in there. But I sold so many tickets to that fight, I couldn't let all my supporters down. So I thought, even if as soon as I walk through that cage door, I've won, basically, because I've got in there up 2 weeks later. And as I say, with a hole in my face. And when I got in there, I don't know, instinct come over. But on 37 seconds, I knocked Jesus Park out. So broke 2 of his ribs, fractured his eye socket. Yeah, it worked out to be all right in the end.
So what was the main concern from the doctors? What was they worried about? Obviously, you got an hole in your face, but what could have happened potentially? Could it fractured further? What they said was where the hole in my face. They said I could have got disfigured if it would have opened up. Okay.
My face would have. I already had to have skin graft on it because it was so much of a hole in there. I had to get 2 operations that I'd have before they could get the bullet out of my head.
Was this more about the money, or was it more about who you are as a person? I'm not going to back out the fight. It's got my face.
No, it's not for the sake of that. It's for the sake of I do everything what I do for my kids. Yeah. See, now I've got 5 kids. I love them to pieces. I don't want to be a crook. All right, I don't want to be a criminal. And plus, I'm not really educated enough to do anything else apart from do this. And I've done it my whole life. So I want to be the best at it. And I want them to look back and to say, look, my dad was the man. He was the first ever gypsy to turn professional in the cage. He was his first ever gypsy to win a bare knuckle sanction one over in America. My dad was the man. That's all. That for me, I'm happy then. So, but apart from that, there's a lot of fighters out there that I want to make perfectly clear. There's a lot of fighters out there that actually they don't want to fight. When they get in there, they fall to pieces. But they got the persona of living their life every day by telling people that they're a fighter, and they're not. They're not. They go through their basic job of a daytime. They get back of a night time, get punched in the head a couple of times in the gym, and then they sign up for a cage fight. They get there, they get beaten, and then they're the people that give us cage fighters a bad name.
Does that insult you in a way?
Yeah, that do insult me. When I see people like that, it upsets me. So I can't be in their company. So at the end of the day, what we do is for entertainment. I know it's violent, I know it's bad sport, and there's a lot of injuries, but what we do is for entertainment. We do it to sell tickets, we do it to fill arenas, and we do it like as pride, obviously, and honour in it. With that, there's no pride and honour with what they do. They're cowboys. So now that they're tightening down a lot more, like Dave O'Donnell did that, with UCMMA, he's tightening down a lot on it now with who fights on his show and who don't fight on his show. And there used to be a hell of a lot more little shows about now. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's not so many about now, is there?
It sort of fluctuates, especially in the London area where you are. It has died down a little bit. UCMA, I just spoke to Neil Grove, and I said it's a regional promotion now. It's a local show, and I hate to say that because of the history of UCMA. You know, when it first kicked off, it had plenty of stars on there, and it's sort of just slowly shutting down and fading down.
I remember going to Wembley and watching Lee Murray fight. As I say, Alex Freed back then. Alex Freed fought Lee Murray as it goes. But that back in cage rage days, what's his name? Anderson Silva, he fought cage rage.
Chris Lytle, Jorge Rivera, the names are there. Bigfoot Silva.
Yeah, the names are there. And as I say, it's the start of a legacy to fight at UCMMA. But I've fought at the top of UCMMA for a few years now. And I'm not saying I want to get bigger and grow more or whatever, but I've had 25 pro fights. I've knocked 17 of them out, stopped them, and I've only lost 2 by split decision. That's by 1 point. against Big Ben Smith for the heavyweight title, and Alex Reed, which I thought I got robbed on for the middleweight title.
Well, you
So
mentioned them. You mentioned them too. I actually want to stop you there because I want to talk about them too in just a second. But it sounds to me like you feel proud that you've fought for UCMMA. Is that so? Do you feel proud that you've fought under the UCMA banner?
I'm proud because, as I say, everybody, they don't start off in UFC. But what fighter do you know that starts off in UFC?
CM Punk.
Yeah, okay then. How many fighters do you know that start off at UFC?
It's very rare, very, very rare. Usually they come through the Ultimate Fighter, etc.
So exactly. So to fight for Dave. Dave is the godfather of MMA. He's UK's godfather of MMA. If anybody knows about the cage fighting, it's Dave.
Yeah,
and why Dave? Dave's got it now. So there's always going to be cage fighting in England and in London, so people can come and see it. It's not like he's going to have one show here, one show there, like Bama. Because Bama, when's their next show? Who knows? Do you understand what I mean? Where's he going to be? Who knows? But there's one thing for sure, that everybody can ring up that ticket line, book them tickets for the London Foxley Arena, get their asses down there. They won't be sitting on their seat all night, that's for sure, especially if I'm fighting.
Well, you keep talking about it a lot here. They won't be sitting on the chairs there. You talk about entertainment. Now, you are an entertainer. And Dave O'Donnell, if you watch him, he's pretty much the only promoter who can really get you G'd up for a fight. If you watch Dave O'Donnell talk about a fight about 5 minutes before, you're going to be glued into that fight. You're going to feel invested in that fight. He's one of the very rare promoters who can really get you invested in a fight. His promotional work is absolutely insane. I love just before a fight where he does those snippets, those clips where the fighters talk, especially yours and Alex Reed's. You really, with the peanuts, etc., being smacked across your face.
The day before, when we do our promo there, literally all the times I've had water chucked over me, I've had things thrown at me, everything we've done, it's all been behind him, Dave. So he is a man that knows what he's doing. As I say, he said to me, if there was more fighters like me, he said, then I would only have to have 2 shows a year, but because I'd sell a lot of tickets and we put entertainment on. But a lot of them, they don't. They seem to try and base it around themselves and try and make themselves look. How can I put it? That like they're Greek gods, but basically they get in there and they worry more about their tan than what they do with the job ahead of them.
Yeah.
So.
Have you learned a lot from Dave, or is it sort of like 2 great minds coming together? 2 great entertainment minds, knowing what the fans want, knowing how to entertain, but also you look like you have fun.
I'm a student. I'm a student. That's all it is. He's the teacher. I'm the student, and I'm only learning. I'm still so it's better every time. Ladder every time. So what can you say? I think I got robbed with the Alex Reed fight. If the Alex Reed fight, I never got robbed. I'll be in UFC now. So. As I say, it might have done me a favour, it might not have. But whatever happens, UFC will be fearing the Rhino, that is for sure. That's 100% fact that the Rhino will be UFC one day, and I will do it. It's no different than Conor McGregor. All right? And as I say, there's been a little bit of upset at the minute because I keep calling Conor McGregor. It's Conor McGregor, obviously.
Hey, I can call Conor McGregor. That'd be pretty cool.
I couldn't help it. The other day when I was giving an interview, I got myself all caught up in the moment. So, yeah. But I could do no different than what he's done. He come in there, he took it by surprise, he's an entertainer. When they finally let the Gypsy in there, all right, I'm going to take it by surprise. I'm going to bring a whole new level to what they call the UFC.
So you mentioned the UFC there. I do want to talk about Alex Reed and Ben Smith, but you mentioned the UFC there. Is you going to, because we know the UKMA scene, it's very tough to get to the UFC from the UKMA scene. People have done it. Jimmy Manuel, Linton Vassell, etc. from the UCMA days. They've made it on to the.
I fought 3 of the people that Jimmy Manuel's fought, and he's a different weight than me. And I've still Sean Legend, Lomez, Dave Rintle. They was all stepping stones that I've stepped on, as well as Jimmy the poster boy has. He got himself in UFC. He's done all right for himself, don't get me wrong, and there's more to come from him. But I would base it more on that every time that I had a fight, they would be itching to get me back in there again. Because there's just a little bit of charisma that them fighters haven't got, but I think they need. Bit of Gypsy.
Yeah, it's like, I was reading the comments on your last interview, everyone's like, who's this guy, what is he, he's got 1-on-1 record in MMA, but they don't understand the kickboxing UCMA belts that you've had, the K1 belts that you've had.
Yeah, but it's like, I can't work it out, because me and Dave had this conversation the other day, and he's upset because he's got all the video footage there.
Yeah.
Like, if you look on my website, I'm 6-0, at professional MMA. 6-0. One semi-pro fight that I got beat on years ago in 2008. That's semi-pro. That wasn't even a pro fight. And it seems to be that they can remember that and they can remember one of those fights, but where's all the rest of them, Matt?
They're sure-dogging, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Sure-dogging, it's sure not have your record up to date by the sounds of it.
Yeah, but Dave said he's going to sort that matter out. Because I was supposed to take a fight to Alex at Bellator for, I got offered the fight.
Wow.
I took the fight, and then Alex pulled out.
Bellator 138, Bellator 138, what's around the corner?
Pardon?
Is it the Bellator 138 card in London?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
This was about 6 weeks ago. I got offered the fight. Alex's cornermen come up to me. His cornermen, his team from London Tube Fighter. They come up to me and they said to me, which are lovely guys. The guys I really do respect them. They come up. They said, look, you can fight Alex at Bellator, but it's MMA. But he'd do a gentleman's and say that he'd keep it standing with you. I said, but if it's MMA, whatever happens, isn't it? That's not a problem. Just give me that contract over. They got me a contract, I signed mine, and he never signed his one. So he thought if he's going to get beat, he wants to get beat by someone that, that he might get more credit for than me, pretty much. So that was basically it. But Alex keeps running scared. In a minute, he's going to be too old to fight. He's going to be retired. I would like to settle the water. And next time that when I fight Alex, look, my next fight with Tommy Gunn at UCMMA, I put my whole purse on it. I'd knock him out in the first round. That's what sort of confident fighter I am. All right, everything that I'm getting for that fight, I'm putting it on me knocking him out in the first round. I'll put my whole MMA license on and my whole career on that I will beat Alex next time we both enter that octagon, and he knows that. So I can't see what his problem is. If he thinks himself a fighter, last time was a close fight. That's a rematch. We sold loads of tickets. Everyone loved the fight. Like, we've done good for kids with cancer out of it. What's he doing? Obviously, it's fun, isn't it?
Well, I want to look into that Alex Reed fight a little bit because I've watched it a few times now. I watched it again yesterday, and when I watch you walk out, it's very emotional. It really is. It gets you G'd up for the fight. I really felt into it, but I couldn't help but think that you burned a shitload of energy in that walkout.
Can I tell you something? That the kids that we went to on Christmas Day, Argos sponsored us for Christmas Day to go to the Royal Marsden Hospital and give kids with cancer Christmas presents. Yeah. So when I done it that day, I could not believe what I was seeing with them poor little children that basically has got cancer and they could be dying in the next few years. So, and all they kept talking about was where they watched some of my fights on YouTube was when the entrance where I have the kids come in and all that. And they talk more about the entrance than what they did the fight. So every bit of that was for them little kids. Every single little bit of it. Because I thought as soon as they watch this, they're going to love it.
Was that in your mind when you was walking out for the fight?
That fight, emotionally, I was an emotional wreck at that fight. Alex Reed has 3 stone on weight on me. The weight was unbelievable that he did. Because London Shoot Fighters renowned for, as I say, the water. They cut the weight before with their water, and then they put bundles back on. Alex just done it in a different level. We went up to 90 odd kilos, so I was only 81. So he done it the right way. But as I say, there's a lot of weight I got in my way. It was a few weeks after my dad died that we had the fight. My brain wasn't really there too much, and especially with all the kids as well. It was just like that fight there. I felt like I wasn't in it, and I still won it. So on the next fight, when I'm in it, he won't be in it for long. Trust me. And that's no offence to Alex. He's a lovely guy. All right, outside the cage is diamond. I'd be friends with him to the day that I die. But inside the cage, when them cage doors locks next time, he's leaving it on a stretcher. Simple as this.
You mentioned that you wasn't in it, but you still won it. Now, the only particular area where I saw you basically give the fight to Alex Reed was your best work is basically long range, edge of range. Keep it out of Alex Reed's range, basically. Just because of your speed and your foot movement, you know. You
he fights like a crab. You know, like a crab walks along the beach. That's how Alex was. Just kept walking towards me. But you got to remember where he's heavier than me and where he can take a punch. All he wanted to do was walk towards me, catch a punch, get me on the cage, hold me, and then knee me. What I was pissed off about was in that fight, that he was tripping me over and he was getting told about it, but he wasn't getting no points took off.
Yeah,
he wasn't getting warned about it on the second round. Like everyone was screaming, "What is he doing?" He's having a cage fight and they just fucking getting tripped up the floor, and that's what I felt like I was doing, kept getting tripped over, so to knock me off my game. That's basically what it was. Fair play. It won that time, but next time he won't.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You sort of darted in, and then he managed to clinch up with you. But it's all well and good darting in, but that's if you land. But your timing seemed to be off. Did you feel like your timing was off? Was that due to you emotionally being a wreck?
Be quite honest with you, all right? No. But when he was coming in there, he knew that I was going to hit up, bang him. So he was on guard. He was on guard all the time. Even though he was coming in, he was waiting to crouch his head down. On the last round when he come in, I caught him with a knee in the face. On the really see walls in, and he just caught that knee straight to the face every time he ducked down and he thought I was going to punch. Now, if I would have seen that at the beginning of the fight, if I would have tried to flying right through the middle, and I guarantee if I would have hit him with one of those knees, he would have went to sleep. That was it. But London Shoot Fight is such a good camp. They trained Alex basically because they knew what I was going to do. They knew I come out with my hands low, that I hit high, basically. Now, what other fighter do you know that comes out and fights with their hands down? I fight with my hands on my hip the whole fight, just for its entertainment fact, not because it makes me fight better, just for the entertainment factor in it.
Well, it's a matter of, that's for me, you got a speed advantage over him with the reflexes, the ability to slip, the ability to roll, get out of the way. Yeah. No, obviously Alex had the strength advantage, so it was speed versus strength in my opinion. Same with Big Ben.
But all he kept doing basically was grabbing me and caressing me and trying to knee me. So in the last round, he got a bit more fisticuffs and he was chucking his punches. But before that, all he was doing was laying his weight on me and trying to burn me out, but basically, which he did do a good job of. But I thought where I hit him more times than he hit me, because that's exactly what happened. If you watch with no commentary, he hit me nearly half as less as what I hit him with. Look at the kicks. He didn't lay one kick on me. I
watched the fight with Luke Sainz, your good friend Luke Sainz. Yeah. Alex Reid opened up more in that fight. It was more of a war than anything. Alex Reid, that's why he got caught in the end and got finished, because he opened up a lot more. Do you think he was doing it on purpose, patiently waiting for you to come in and dart in so he could clinch up and try and bully and trip you?
See when Luke Sainz, he's been fighting for a long time. He's got the title at the minute. So when I come back from America, when I beat, even though Luke Sainz my friend. All right, at the end of this, there can only be one champion. So once I go to America, win my bare knuckle, come back here, I'll beat Tommy Gunn in the first round, and then after that, if he still holds that little belt around his waist, then we're going to have to lock horns in the cage. As simple as that. Because even though he's my mate, this is a profession what we do, and I am the best, and I will prove to everyone that exactly what I can do and what I'm capable of, especially now, the mindset that I'm in. There's only one Tony Giles, the Rhino. Take on all customers.
Okay, before we move on to Big Ben Smith, I want to clarify one thing. He is retired now, which I really want to get you.
He literally stunk of BO. Next time, if ever we fight again, if his corner man hasn't got links, a can of links each, then I'm not fighting him. That's got to be in the contract.
He's retired now, did you know?
God, I don't blame him. Probably the smell. He couldn't get another fight. So he's a polecat. I've never seen a guy stink so much in all my life. I fought foreigners. I fought, a lot of people. He stunk, that cunt did.
Okay, before we move on, Alex Reid, do you have a message for him if he's listening?
Yeah, Alex, this is nothing personal, but you know the situation. We made a film out the last one, Beyond the Cage. That was decent. It was about it was your dad's. You was in the film with your dad. Your dad died. I know how you feel now because my dad died. Let's do this for our dads. All right, you know your dad. Show him some respect. Well, the last time that he done anything with you, publicly, was me and you fight. And for the sake and respect of my dad and your dad, they're both dead. Let's do it for them, Alex. Let's have it again. One more time. Come on. Let's do it.
Your bare knuckle boxing bout, is that against Tommy Gunn, the former pro boxer?
No, not Tommy Gunn. Tommy Gunn's. Tommy Gunn's. I'm fighting him at UCMMA.
Wow.
K1 title. I'm fighting.
Is that a different Tommy Gunn?
Yeah, this is Bobby Gunn from America. He used to be a pro boxer. He used to be a pro boxer. He's a world champion. He's a lovely guy. As I say, the way I come to meet him, I don't even want to talk about. But now we're friends, and I'm fighting over there. He's a real sensible guy, and he knows what he's doing. So I'm going to be underneath his wing across the water. So he was supposed to fight Kimbo Slice, but Kimbo Slice is obviously, God rest his soul, he's dead now. So Bobby's got really good. He's a really talented guy, and he's got a lot of respect from a lot of people. He's onto a big thing at the moment with what he's doing. And as I say, if I can help him be underneath his wing, and he can help me, that's great. We'll fight along each other.
How's the push decided in bare knuckle boxing for this bout? Obviously, from what I know, you put your money up against your opponent's money. It like goes in the middle, it goes into a kitty, and winner takes all.
This is a sanctioned fight. It's nothing like the one in this country, B-Bad. It's nothing like that. What this is no different than a pro boxing fight.
Okay.
There's no gloves, and obviously it's a lot more exciting.
So the push is from the promoter, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, and only like. The maddest of fighters will fight bare knuckle, and the fighters that actually are warriors and they're here to fight, they're who's going to be fighting bare knuckle, because you get hit the wrong way, bone on bone, and your brain dead. It's the top of the food chain. Who fights bare knuckle, and that's why I'm going to get in there at the beginning, win my titles, move on to UFC, and then who knows, I might even become a porn star.
Well, you talk about the dangers of bare knuckle, and the biggest important danger is during the fight, obviously not in terms of long-term health, but actually in the fight there is breaking your knuckles, breaking your hands. Now, when I talked to Ken Shamrock about this, he said the way to avoid it is by punching correctly. A lot of people punch incorrectly, you've got to line correctly. Is that so?
Exactly. When like I was a little kid, we got learned, my dad, God bless his soul, he used to show us when we was little kids to punch the bag he used to hurt us, but when you used to crack the bones in your hands, then the calcium builds back around the bone and it makes it stronger. So my knuckles feel a little bit weird shaped, and I think like everyone looks at them, but my knuckles, alright, even though they stick out and they look weird, I can't break my hand. My hand I could punch through a wall if I had to, because of all of the years. If you look at any of my videos on Facebook or Twitter, and you'll see that every time I'm punching that bag, it ain't with boxing gloves, it's bare knuckle.
Well, let's scrap that anyway. Let's move on to Big Ben Smith. I want to move on to Big Ben Smith here because he has just retired. You said that you do want to fight him again. Now, when I watched the fight with you and Big Ben Smith, I noticed that you stayed on the outside. You did a lot of circling. You let him take the centre of the cage.
Like at the end of the first round, he kneed me in the balls.
Yeah, there was a lot of knees for the balls. I noticed that.
Well, one of my balls went up into my belly basically, so I had to go after to the hospital and get it pulled back down. So, and I've never been hit in the nuts as hard as that. And as I say, I've got 5 kids, so I've got a pair of swingers on me. I'm telling you, I can tuck them in my socks sometimes. All right, but basically, listen to me. He kneed me in the nuts, and my whole body went cold from my neck down to my toes. And I just looked around at my supporters, and I thought to them, there's no way that I'm going to give up. And they was all getting all moody because I was trying to have a breather. So I just carried on, but I should have really, being a professional, I should have just took my time, recuperated before I started fighting again. And as I say, listen, look at the weight difference. It was for the heavyweight title. He's been in there with every fight you can imagine, and I was still there at the last bell punching. So it's not like I got embarrassed and got knocked out.
Yeah.
I lost, fair enough, I lost by points. Heavyweight title, I still won because I got in there and I've done it. And when I weighed in at 80 kilos the day before. He weighed in at 96. So, and God knows what he was the night of the fight. So, as I say, I lost the battle, but I won the war because I proved, even though I'm a little guy, I'll do exactly what I say on the tin.
Do you feel like you could have done a little bit more in that fight? Because
exactly,
Ben's
I feel like if he never need me in the balls, I swear to God, a lot of people say that about fights. That's why I don't really comment on it much. But I know for a fact that all I was waiting to do was him to get to the end of the second round, and I was going to come out on the third round, and I was going to take the fight to him. And where he would have been used to the first 2 rounds of him walking forward, he would have walked onto every punch that I would have done him. And my game plan got fucked up. As I say, London Shoe Fighter are one of the best teams that you could have behind you, because any little trick, any little manoeuvre, anything they can do to knock you off your game, them guys know it. They know every trick in the book.
Yeah,
as I say,
there was a jumping
it's like if you want to be a good fighter, if you want to be a real good fighter, and you want a good team behind you, go with them. Or I'm an entrepreneur. I do my own thing. I've never had a boss in my whole life. No one can tell me what to do. I'm my own man. All right, when I walk down the road, I'm my boss. No one's my boss. No one tells me what to do. So everything that I do is on my own back. So, and I'm prepared to, as I say, prepared to stand by all the decisions that I make. So I know it's taken me a little bit longer to get into UFC, but I've still got good sponsors. I've got good people behind me. I've got Dave O'Donnell behind me. I've got Bobby Gunn over in America. Everything's good at the minute.
Well, I was trying to say that there was a lot of jumping push kicks, spinning back fists from Big Ben Smith in that fight. You know, he's paid for that since your fight, or in the past as well, due to doing those jumping push kicks, which really seem ineffective from him. I don't know why he tries closing the distance in that manner, because he's a lot shorter than most of his opponents too.
I think he should put a bit of weight on him, try a bit of sumo wrestling. I reckon if he puts a bit of weight on, a nappy would suit him definitely, and he walk forward and slap him. That's Ben Smith. Anyone really? Not saying that I'm shit, but he had the luck that night of the fight because he needed me in the nuts. And I was a lot lighter. But if anyone is of his own stature and that can actually have a fight, like my good friend Nick Chapman, that put him out of there. It took longer for Nick to put his bandages on than what it did to basically shit. And so I'll just say I'm gutted because I got a points decision and I lost one of the only 2 fights in my whole career to a shit person that can't actually fight and stinks of BO and looks like sloth off the Goonies, basically. So that haunts me. But at the end of the day, Nick got in there, he had my back, and he took him straight out. The only reason I fought Ben Smith is because he was trying to mug Nick off because Nick was supposed to fight him. They put it back to the next show. So that's why I jumped up, Nick being my friend, and saying, all right, no problem. You know the best thing to do? If you want to fight, I'll fight you, Ben. So you still get paid, mate, don't worry, and we'll have it. And that's basically how it come about, the fight. I didn't have no interest in fighting him. Obviously, he's heavyweight. But when he was at the press conference shouting his mouth off, I thought to him, I'll be Huckleberry. And that was it.
Who do you want the most out of Alex Reid and Ben Smith? Or are you fine just leaving him in the past?
Well, do you know what? Both of them, all right, they know as well as what I know what the outcome would be when we step back in that cage. So they both underestimated me, and they both thought that they could walk over me and take advantage of me. They knew I was still there at the last bell, and they know next time I'm only going to be bigger and better.
Yeah, hey, I've heard you say that a few times about them. Is there something you see in the fight there, during, their body language, maybe in their eyes, their face, facial expression, where they sort of change their opinion on you during the fight?
Yeah, because they don't class me to be a fighter of their level. And then when I get in there and I'm standing toe-to-toe and I bang them, they're like, what's going on? I can't, because I do play about a lot, and I do, as I say, rip the piss out of a lot of fighters. And I'm not the average fighter, as simple as that. But I've done it my whole life. There's not a man in the UK, I'll tell you, in the whole world, at this point of my fitness that I'm at the minute, and the mental feeling that I've got at the minute of fighting, that could beat me at the moment. That's how I feel. So I'm a giant at the moment, even though that I'm 5'10". I'm a giant, and I'm willing to take on any oncomers. Now, there's not many fighters that can stand and say that I will fight any fighter that wants to get in that ring or cage with me, as long as they're pro, and as long as we get a contract, I'll fight anyone. Right? There's not many fighters, and I'm convinced I'll beat them. There's not many fighters that can say that.
Well,
whether it's cage fighting, bare knuckle, whatever way they want it.
Well, Big Ben Smith, he did come out in a southpaw stance. Obviously, you're orthodox, so it's the battle of the lead hands, and obviously the straight right really comes into play. How much did him being southpaw affect you? Obviously, you mentioned about the low blow, but how much did him being southpaw affect you in the fight too? How much of a factor did it play?
Well, every time I smell someone with BO now, I basically think of Ben Smith. Every time, and it's just like that scarred me for life, obviously, because every time I ever smell someone who stinks of BO in the gym, I'm going to think of that big sloth, goony looking person. So
you're happy he retired then? You're happy he's retired?
Well, I'm happy he's retired, but I don't blame him neither, because he might be able to wash more now. Definitely.
Okay, let's move away from fighting. Let's talk more about this film a little bit before we wrap things up. I just want to know a little bit more about this film.
There's a film that I'm doing at the moment called it's with Paddy Doherty. I've got a part in it where I play a bare knuckle fighter. We've been doing it for a while now. It's coming out and it'll be a real big thing. But also I've been doing filming with Channel 5 with my kids in the program that's coming out in August. and it's a documentary. So for Channel 5, it's going to be really interesting to watch. They followed me at the last fight when I got shot in the face, and also when I had the fight a few weeks later. So you can see it all there. As I say, yeah, you definitely hear about it when it's out. So if you miss it, you know, don't just look on my Facebook, Tony the Rhino Giles. If not, get me on Twitter, Tony Giles UK. Even a little bit of Instagram, Tony Giles UK, and I'll make sure that I get the footage over to whoever wants to watch it. Okay.
So anyone wanting more information on your bare knuckle boxing bout? Obviously, did he contact Bobby Gunn on Twitter or Facebook? Yeah. Not Tommy Gunn, Bobby Gunn.
Bobby Gunn. Remember Bobby Gunn.
Yeah.
Make sure they get it right. Yeah. As I say, yeah. If they get in contact with him, as I say, he's going to be knowing everything about all my next bare knuckle moves and my stateside stuff. I've put full trust and control into Bobby because I think he's a proper man. And he does exactly what he says on the tin as well. It ain't about money with him, it's about honour and respect. And that's a lot more than a lot of fighters got, over here especially.
Okay, Cryptos, that's a wrap for today's show. Big thank you there, Tony. That's a big. And I've
got to say, yeah, please just get across that Dave O'Donnell, I'm so sorry the life I put you under. The stress and the arguments that me and that guy have every day is a different level, but I do love him really, and as I say for you, I would never leave him. The only reason the time that I would leave him, go to a big organisation if he told me to go. All right, so if any of them big UFC, anything, Bellator, anyone wants me, get in contact with Dave O'Donnell.
Yeah, okay? much respect to Dave O'Donnell. I think in many fighters,
the Godfather, the UK Godfather of MMA, definitely by far.
I think in many fighters' eyes across the globe, there's a lot of thanks to Dave O'Donnell, especially in the retirement speeches. I would say so for a fact. Yeah, definitely, 100%. Thank you very much. And if you need the Rhino, you know where to holler.